What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Gen Podcast. This is your host, Gilbert Sanchez. This is going to be a crazy ass fucking episode. Couple reasons why. Huge into boxing. I actually got a boxing fight a couple days from now that's going to be huge. To a lot of people, it's not one of those fights that they saw coming, but I think these two people, Canelo and Crawford, are in their primes. Crawford's a little older, but yeah, that guy's IQ is on a different level. So I'm super excited about that. But this podcast right here, in my opinion, is probably going to be one of the top out there for me, just because I'm a huge fan. I've been following for a little bit now, and I'm not even going to lie, man. A couple months ago when you took the world by storm, dude, it was one of those things where, and actually, I don't know if you're familiar, but I had Mario like a couple years ago on my podcast right after he fought Davis. And he said, even though I lost, my stock in boxing and people's awareness as far as how tough of a fighter I am just rose significantly. But I want to start off with that, man, just because this happened, like I said, a couple months ago. Yeah. Are you still feeling the high, or what's going on, man?
You know, first of all, thank you for having me, man.
Of course.
And second, it's not necessarily that I'm feeling the high, but I'm feeling more now everyone kind of expects me to come out and like do the same thing. And so that's how I'm training now. Now I stopped for maybe a week, training. And then I was right back into the gym the second week after the fight, because I knew the responsibility that I have now. It's way bigger than when before. Before, nobody knew me, so it was kind of like doing everything in the shadows. You don't really care. Not that you don't care, but you kind of just like, again, no one really knows who you are, so you kind of just like whatever about things. And then so after this fight, now I have way more eyes on me. So now I have that responsibility to go out and I guess perform to what they expect.
Follow-up question to that would be: Is there pressure when it comes to more eyes on you? Do you feel, or is that just not a worry to you, would you say?
I mean, me personally, I could really see, because I'll tell you a little story, right? I went to Japan maybe like a month after my fight, and I had went in 2023, and no one knew who I was. Like, legit, I was nobody, right? And then I went again a month after my fight, and I was getting stopped. Like, I got stopped at Disneyland by random fans and Universal Studios by random fans. I was legit leaving. It's called katsudon, and it's like chicken with rice, like fried chicken with rice and egg. Right? You've had it?
I've heard of it. I've seen it.
There's a spot that I love to go to in Shibuya, and I was leaving there, and some guy came up to me like, "Hey, Cardenas, can I take a picture?" And so I was like, "Yeah, sure." So one of those things where I have not pressure, but again, like it's more just like that responsibility to go out and make sure that I perform to what people are going to be used to seeing. You know what I mean? So that's really what it is.
So I've seen that, man, that you went to Japan recently, and what do you think the biggest thing out there versus the States that you see out there in Japan? This is kind of like the biggest difference.
Really just the culture, bro. Like the over there, they have like the culture is a lot about respect. Even if you do something to them, they'll tell you sorry. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it's just like one of those things where they have so much respect that that's the big difference here. I'm not saying in the States we don't, but the culture here is, we have so many cultures that sometimes, like, I remember when I lived in DC, man, and I used to open the door for people. And that's a Southern thing.
Yeah.
You open the door for somebody, and in DC, man. I was over there, and I would open the door for people, and they would never say thank you. Right. And so then one day I got kind of upset, because I was like, man, they caught me on the wrong day probably. Right. So I got kind of upset, and I was like, bro, you're welcome. And the guy was like, oh, bro, my bad, bro. He's like, it's not like that. And then I just told him, nah, bro, like from where I'm from, he's like, we say thank you, stuff like that. And they're like, nah, bro, over here, everyone, everyone's in their own thing. So that's really what it is for us. It's like, for me, it's the the respect, like the culture is like completely different.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? You say that, and I didn't. I don't think I realized until you said that it was a Southern thing. But I went to New York a couple years ago, and it was kind of the same thing. Like there's just yeah, it's
Yeah.
different. Like they're
Their tempo's fast.
that,
Yeah.
and they just are a little. We're a little bit more friendly. Like we're a little bit more open to having conversations.
Mhm.
It could be a lot of things. Who knows, right? I've never lived up north or New York or anywhere near there on the east side, but I've always lived in Texas, and I know that you do open doors for people. I know that you say shit. Sometimes yes,
Good
ma'am.
morning.
Yeah, good
Good
morning.
morning.
Yeah. Sometimes yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. So little things like that. It's trippy to think about. Not everywhere is like that.
Yeah.
So I can see how it's just kind of
Like I'll legit be running in the morning with the team, and we're running, and I'll see somebody running, and
yeah.
you're running with them, and you just do this to them. And like they're running, and you're running, and you do this, and they'll do it back, and or you say good morning, they say good morning back, and that's just the culture here,
Yeah.
I guess, in Texas.
Yeah.
Southern culture, Southern hospitality exists, bro. Believe
No,
it or not,
dude. Trust me, it makes sense, man. And like I said, who knows? It could be a lot of things, right? Like it could be just, man. Wouldn't even want to go into it, but yeah, it's sometimes it's trippy, man. I've never. Are you from Texas, San Antonio? Yeah.
Born and raised.
Damn. What side of town?
Growing up, I was born originally like West Avenue and I-10. I lived there
Okay.
till I was like
Fuck, West Avenue tacos. Come on,
yeah,
man.
yeah. So I lived over there till like I was maybe like 6,
Mm.
and then after that we kind of moved around, and then in 2007 I lived in the South Side in 2003 ish 4,
Yeah.
and then we moved around a little bit, and then we went back to the South Side. So since 2007 I lived in the South Side.
Dude, crazy. I moved in South Side, right off of Medina Base Road, like Valley High area.
Valley High, yeah.
Man. So I was in 5th grade, so 2005. Yeah, I want to say 2005. And so I used to live off of, I want to say Bandera and Hillcrest area. I don't know if you know where that's from. I think that's probably the closest thing I can. So right near, actually, this is probably better. More people probably know about where St. Mary's University is.
Yeah, around the West Side,
Yeah, so literally maybe a couple blocks down from there is some duplex places. And
I lived in 2007. We lived over there on San Dario on Monterrey Street.
Okay.
You know where like Commerce. You know that Whataburger's at?
Yeah.
Right there on Commerce?
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there. Kind of like in that neighborhood over there. We lived there for a couple months, and then I did 5th grade there, and then I got out. We went to the South Side.
Yeah. Man, it's trippy, man, because you can move to all sides of San Antonio, and when you talk to somebody, it's all one piece, right?
Yeah.
Like even though it's a huge city, I feel like sometimes, at least when I've been on this podcast and heard people's stories, it's all like you can have a conversation like this, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, I don't know, maybe it's a San Antonio thing, Hispanic thing, where everybody's.
I think it's a San Antonio thing, man, because I've been around. I lived in DC before, in Orlando. I went to LA. I lived in LA for a little bit. I lived in Austin. And I think at San Antonio, one of the most San Antonio things that I know is for sure San Antonio, you don't ask, where you from? And if they tell, I'm from San Antonio, then you be like, what side? Or like, what school did you go to? So then more or less, you always know, like, if they went to, let's say, I don't know, like MacArthur. Or they went to
I know what you mean.
Like let's say they went to Brandeis, then you're kind of like, oh, this dude got money, you know.
Yeah.
But if they say, I went to South End or Southwest or McCullum or Harlem, then you're like,
it's a little impoverished.
Yeah, a little
poverty.
Yeah.
Nah, dude, it's like I said, I've always loved San Antonio. I've told people I don't think I would ever move from here. I would move in a different area. I just wouldn't move to here. Move from here. Maybe Dallas, Houston, there's a ton of fucking hurricanes and shitload of flooding. But I think San Antonio for me is just
perfect. It's
perfect, yeah. It's hot, but I think I would rather deal with Texas in general versus moving anywhere outside of Texas. So.
Yeah, no, I like, me personally, I like LA a lot, like, California, but it's expensive.
I was going to ask you, was that just a boxing thing when you had to move around from DC, LA, or was it just kind of?
Yeah, it was all boxing, man. It was always boxing. I've always been like, I'm gonna do everything I can to like be successful in my career.
Yeah.
And if it if it was like move here, move there, do this or do that, like I was gonna do that. And I mean, it was a big risk and
Yeah.
financial risk as well for my dad because my dad was my manager at the time when I was doing this. But it was one of those things where I had to do it.
Yeah. I want to get back to, I guess, just early days, man. When did you first start boxing? Like at what age would you say?
I was 12 when I had my first fight. Um, I had been boxing maybe 6 months prior to that.
Damn. Okay.
So it was relatively fast. And that's really what it was, man. I kind of just followed my brother to the gym. He was boxing first. And I kind of was like, big brother, little brother thing,
Yeah.
kind of just follow your older brother. That's what I did. I kind of just followed him. And I was playing soccer at the time. And that's really what it was. I just kind of followed my brother where he was going and
Yeah.
I ended up kind of liking it a little bit. And then that's
Yeah.
really what it was.
12 years old, man. So there's boxers obviously out there that are, you hear some of them say like 5, 6 years old.
Mhm.
So do you think coming in at 12 years old, you maybe might be late? Or do you think even though that you can work hard through your teenage years, because in my opinion, those are probably more of the crucial years, where you start figuring out everything and you just have a more
Like train of thought yourself.
Correct,
Yes,
correct,
yeah.
correct. Do you feel like that was a little bit more advantage versus people that training a little bit younger than you?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say, man, because sometimes you since you're around it so much, you kind of like grasp it a little bit easier when you're a kid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you're a kid, you're not worried about boxing. You're worried, or you're not
Yeah.
worried about like being the best at something. You're more worried about, when we were younger, like playing basketball with your
Yeah.
friends or
Yeah.
kicking a soccer ball or just doing everything else but what you
Yeah.
what like your parents set you out to do, right? So I think for me, 12 years old was one of those ages where it was like, you know what, like I get to choose what I want to do. Whether it was soccer or whether it was boxing, I got to choose.
Mm.
And obviously I chose boxing. So it's one of those things where like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, right?
yeah.
You get to choose what
Of
you want
course.
to do.
Because when you're younger, you to a certain extent, you might not really have a choice. Because I've heard of stories and people where they just kind of force their kids to do soccer, force their kids to do football, and 9 times out of 10, well, I wouldn't say 9 times out of 10, but sometimes
No, it's pretty high. Yeah. You're right.
sometimes they don't even like it, or sometimes they like a different sport, and they're just maybe afraid to speak up just because they might not, just the situation they might be in. So that does make sense. I can see how making your own decision will be, I guess, just better in the end route, right? Because you're going to want to go, you're going to want to do the hard work at the end of the day to essentially be successful.
Yeah, it's like my kids, man. My kids, I always tell everybody, I will never make my kids box. I'll have them where I'll make them learn how to defend themselves, but I won't like force them to fight.
Yeah.
If they want to fight, then it's one of those things where they have to choose it.
Yeah.
They got to show me that they want to do it, but I will never like force them to do it. But like you said, it goes back to like when kids are 6, 7 years old, they're not worried about anything but being a kid.
Yeah.
So then you put them in a sport that's very like demanding, and you put them in a sport that's very demanding, they're a lot of times they're not going to grasp it as much.
I think even for me, I'm not glad, but I think even for me, I kind of, sometimes I wish I was in sports at an early age, just because you see people that are in sports at an early age, 5, 6, 7 years old, and then they beat shit by 20, they're like superstars, or they're just excellent at their craft. And I think for me growing up, I didn't start playing basketball till kind of the same till I was like 11, 12. And I think it might have worked out a little bit better if I would have been a little bit earlier. But then I'm like, who gives a fuck? Who cares, dude?
Yeah.
You're already living your life. So it was just one of those things. I wanted to ask you a question because you mentioned it about your kids learning how to defend themselves.
Yeah.
Since you're a boxer, kind of, I guess you're in the inside looking out. So you're in the world, I should say. Do you think most people should learn how to defend themselves nowadays?
I mean, nowadays, man, it's kind of hard to say, bro, because, we live in Texas, bro. It's people nowadays don't fight. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Especially in Texas, people don't fight. Everybody kind of, we're in an open carry state. So
Yeah.
I think now, man, it's kind of hard to kind of tell somebody to like fight or like, for me, I think everybody should learn how to defend themselves. Yes, of course. I think I'm already gonna be 30, right? In November I'll be 30. So now it's like the older you get, the more you kind of realize, like, man, if I get in a fight with this guy, like, I'm gonna go to jail.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a ticket. I'm gonna do community service. There's more. I'm gonna get on probation. There's more to it than just like fighting and like getting a slap on the wrist and
like
saying, go home.
Like a little bit more to lose.
Yeah. So now it's my advice to people all the time is like, man, just avoid it at all costs.
That's true. Because when I was younger, I think you just have a little bit more. I don't know if it's aggression or just a little bit like just wanting to be in that rage.
I don't think you see the consequences.
That's okay. There it is.
That's my thing. I don't think you see the consequences because you're young.
Yeah.
The best, like let's say when you're in high school, the worst thing that's gonna happen, you're gonna get suspended.
Yeah.
You're gonna go to hack your alternative school where people know it. That's the worst thing that's gonna happen. But the older you get, it's not like that no more. Now you're gonna go to jail. Or you're gonna have to go check in with a probation officer every week, stuff like that. So I always tell people, man, if you can avoid any situation when it comes to fighting or just anything, that's the best bet to do.
Dude, yeah, it's trippy when you get older, man. Especially if you don't have people to give you direction or some type of guidance, or maybe you do and you just figure things out on your own. It's just. There's a little bit more satisfaction when you obtain something by yourself, knowing that like, hey, I did this by myself.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like something like this. Never thought I would be like I was telling you off air. I was shy, intimidated little kid coming out of high school, and I didn't really talk to nobody, man. But it was one of those things where I just having conversations like this was just like, fuck, this is dope.
Yeah. And
it's crazy because if you go with me, like let's just say we go outside, have a drink, dinner, whatever. I'm in Chili's and dog, I'm chill, bro. I'm to myself. I'm quiet, but it's like this right here is a whole nother type of realm for me where it feels natural, good. I don't know, man. I honestly don't know where I was going, but I'm gonna try to get back on track. I wanted to ask, leading up to that fight, man, I'm going to say this name. And it's funny because I was listening to pronunciations on the way over here on how to say. Anyways, I was kind of learning the pronunciations of the Japanese fighter. If you can tell me how to say it, and I want to say my pronunciation like we did before on your name over the air. So how do you say the Japanese fighter?
So from my knowledge, again, I think it's Naoya Inoue.
Inoue.
Yeah, Inoue.
Okay. That's a lot easier than what I was fucking expecting.
What were you thinking?
I don't know, dude. Like it was like kind of like since his name ends with a U, kind of like a W, like a U. I don't know.
Okay, I get it.
Maybe something like that.
UE.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can see people Inui.
Yeah.
I can see where people say that.
But on that topic, leading up to the fight, did you do anything different previously to combat? Did you have a game plan? Did you do anything different fighting style? What would you say that you did different, or if you did leading into that fight?
I mean, everything was a little bit like different because we had like one guy, like we had one mission. It was to beat him, and we knew that he would get like reckless or overconfident whenever he kind of hurt someone. So we knew that, and as soon as I felt like the first punch, I kind of knew. I was like, he doesn't really crack like that, like not. And I had told my trainers, like, no, he can't crack like that. And then, so they're like, all right, well now we have to work the plan. The plan was to like sucker him in, basically, counterpunch him, and I caught him once, and then I got a little too trigger happy. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, man, I mean, we didn't really do much. Like different, like the strength and conditioning was more focused on, like I said, like the strength and conditioning was more focused on me. The training was more focused on me, stuff like that. Sparring was more focused on, I was the first one to spar. I had more like first dibs on everything.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that's really what it was, man. And it was just like, it was a little bit like way more focused on me.
I got two questions, man. First one is going to be, I've always wanted to ask this. It's pretty interesting. When you're fighting, do things slow down for you, or is it just as fast as people are watching, either on TV or like outside the ring?
I mean, that's a good question. Me personally, I don't. It's because you don't really. You know what's going on, bro. Like you know what's going on. And you're there.
Yeah.
But your adrenaline's pumping so fast that like a lot of the times you're going off of muscle memory
Yeah.
as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think boxing is not like on any other sport, and only MMA, right? But boxing, other than that, it's not like any other sport. You don't. Your adrenaline's pumping so fast that you don't remember nothing. And it's not like you're getting punched in the head and you legit just don't remember like going into the
Yeah.
ring, or no, you legit don't remember the fight because your adrenaline's pumping so fast and everything's just happening so fast. That's how I feel, right? Like by the time you know it, you don't remember the fight. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like
No, it makes sense because Max Holloway, when he fought his last fight, I want to say either right after, yeah, because he was still in his UFC trunks. He went to go watch his fight, and I can see why he did that. Maybe because he wanted to see where he messed up,
Yeah.
or he wanted to see where just what went wrong, and maybe kind of one of those things you just really don't know, or just
Yeah.
everything's happening too fast. You can't comprehend of what's going on. So I figured I would ask, but it does make sense. I wanted to ask too. So you get the counter punch. You realize he's down. What's going through your head?
No, honestly, I mean, dude, the first thought that went into my head was like, okay, like I can hurt him. Like I know I can hurt him. Like I dropped him. I know I can hurt him. And I tell this to people, right? The way I dropped him and the way Nettie dropped him were two different like knockdowns. The Nettie knockdown was more like a flash. Like he got up relatively fast and like he was fine. But with me, when he went down, if you really watch it, like he went down and he kind of regrouped himself and he stayed on the floor. It wasn't the same way he got up with Nettie. It was completely different. So that's when I was like, okay, I can hurt him. And that's why I told my trainer, like when I went to the corner, I was like, I can hurt him. Like, and again, it was a kind of like a double-edged sword.
Yeah. So you see that throughout the fight. Does that up your confidence? Like, hey, I can really hang with the pound for pound boxer, and essentially I'm that guy.
Yeah. I guess during the fight, right? It was like I told you, a blessing and a curse because I knew I can hurt the guy. I knew that I could hurt him, but that was where I messed up because I knew I could hurt him. So now I started depending on one punch only instead of keeping the game plan that I had and just keep trying to work and sucker him in for another punch. I just kept looking for one. Boom, boom. So it kind of tired me out. And it's just like anything, you know. I was talking to one of my buddies, a good friend of mine, Lamont Peterson. I don't know if you remember who he is. He fought Errol Spence. He fought Danny Garcia. He fought Amir Khan. Like he fought some of the best fighters. And I was talking to him, and he told me, he's like, you know what? Like I think his first world title shot, he ended up losing, if I'm not mistaken. And the second time around, he won because he told me, like, no, the first time it was like one of those things where you kind of, everything's new to you. Everything is fresh. Everything is new. And sometimes the moment, it's not that it eats you, but the moment, sometimes you're not ready for it then. But you fight and you do what you do and you perform. Now you're ready. Now it's like, okay, when you get another chance, you'll know what to do and how to handle the situation. I think for me, that's kind of one of those things where,
yeah,
for me, I feel like that's what's going to happen.
Makes sense, dude. You have thousands, if not millions of people either watching outside of the ring and then watching on TV. Shit, sometimes illegally. So there's even more people that they can't actually count and shit. But so it makes sense, dude. It sometimes I look back and think the amount of people, that amount of eyes you can get either on social media or just TV or anything in general nowadays is kind of fucking scary.
No, that's for sure.
I tell people all the time, and people have this like, they want shit to happen quick. And I'm like, okay, let's just say you're getting TikTok views that are 500. I always imagine 500 people in an auditorium looking at you and staring at you while I'm doing whatever I'm doing on TikTok or whatever situation is. Kind of like this podcast. If I'm putting it on YouTube Shorts and I'm getting 1,000, 2,000, whatever, I just always envision myself as that amount of people in an auditorium in an arena, just
Yeah.
like staring at me. So I'm like, okay, if boxers or if celebrities or if anybody in general has that amount of eyes on you,
Yeah.
it's fucking insane. It's pretty like you just in my eyes, you sometimes you're not ready for it. Sometimes that one time can prepare you for the next time where maybe it's a lot more eyes and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
none of this shit matters. What matters is that person in front of me. Let's fucking go to work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm taking it, man. One of those things where, um, I fought one of the best fighters in the world. If not like again, everyone. I tell people the pound for pound list is an imaginary list. Like there's no such thing as a pound for pound list. It's everyone's opinion. You put let's say 10 people's in a room and they opinionate and they come up with a list who's 1, 2, and 3. So on this imaginary list that exists, you have a guy that's top 1, 2, or 3,
Mhm.
and I fought him, and I went toe to toe with him, and people in Japan and just people in overall are like that. My fight and the Donaire, the first one, were the toughest fights of his career so far. So for that, it's like that tells me, okay, like I belong here.
Yeah.
That might not been my time now, but once I get back to that spot, I know what to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm kind of taking it.
Yeah. It's just all experiences.
Yeah.
Like just you've been there, you've done that, you know what to do. Very, very similar to muscle memory. It's just kind of going through the motions and figuring out, okay, been here, done that. This is what it is. This is what I'm feeling. And yeah, man, I totally agree. So, man, dude, I don't think I've ever heard that. I mean, you see it on social media and you hear about it, and I guess sometimes you really don't know who makes these lists of the pound for pound boxers
Yeah.
or you got football going on right now, the power rankings with college football and NFL. So there is truly people that is just all opinionated. And when you have these bouts together or you have these games together, one, they're there for a reason, and two, someone's gonna lose. You
Yeah.
really just don't know
Yeah.
who it is.
It's like my fight, man. Bro, I was a nobody. Legit, no one knew who I was. Like before this fight, no one knew who I was, and everybody on comments, and I would see the comments. And it didn't bother me. It is what it is. Everyone has their own opinion, but they were like, "Oh, he ain't gonna last 1, or he ain't gonna last 2, or he ain't gonna last 3, or he's gonna get knocked out before 3, or like a bunch of stuff, right?" Like, and in my mind, I was like, "Bro, half of you guys don't even know who I am. Y'all think I'm coming in for the paycheck, but in reality, like." That's what I told people, man. Like I told, like the people, the press and interviews. I'm like, bro, if I want to get money, go get a job. It's not gonna pay the same whatsoever, but it's better than getting punched in the face for a living. You know what I'm saying? So in my mind, it was like I could go get a job, but I'm not in it for the money. And the day, and I was telling them, May 4th, y'all gonna see that I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to prove who I am and to show the world like what I can do.
Yeah.
And so that's how I went out. That's like really the main thing that drove me to go out there and just fight, bro.
So you're saying just people in general just making like some type of assumption about you when they didn't, either that you're not good enough or you're in it for the money, that just kind of fueled you?
Yeah. And then, like my last fight in February, man, like people don't really know this, but I went up a lot in weight. So I came down like 20 plus pounds in weight. And the night before in weigh-ins, I had to lose 5 pounds, and I did it in a hot bath. People don't know that, right? And so the guy that I fought was a sparring partner for Inoue. He would go to Japan and he would spar him and this and that, right? And so people were like, oh, I got caught with a good shot right here in the temple, and I went down. But I got up and I continued to fight. I was already winning the fight 6-0.
Yeah.
We did a 10-round fight. I was winning the fight 6-0. And then the fight got closer because I was already like the 5 pounds that I had to lose the night before. And then I was already fatigued. And so then little by little, that kind of was one of those things where like people thought, oh, he got dropped by Inoue sparring partner. Inoue's going to stop him. But it's like, this time I did the diet correctly. I was able to like not go up too much in weight, and I focused on just on staying, on my weight at all times. And that's basically, one of those things where my indiscipline caught up to me in my fight in February. And then when I was disciplined and I did what I had to do, it showed on May, in my fight in May, who I am.
Yeah. Damn. Nowadays, dude, you see MMA fighters, you see boxers get a dietitian, get a nutritionist, and they're preparing themselves for that right there, which essentially you did. Well, not essentially, you did do it. And dude, I always go back to this because it's so fucking hilarious. I followed, I don't know if you follow him or know who he is. I'm sure you do. Most people do. Chad Ochocinco. He always kind of claims that
football player.
Yeah, football player. He always kind of claims that he's on like a fucking McDonald's diet. He's always like been on a McDonald's diet during the NFL, but and it's trippy to say this, but he always preaches like it's a catalyst for your body, like saying that eating junk food is kind of a catalyst for your body where you don't get sick. And I was like, okay, it's kind of crazy. But I don't think that's true at all. Like I
personally don't think it's
true. No, yeah, 100%. I just don't agree with it because there's a lot of shit in food nowadays. You probably don't even know what they are. And when you have a dietitian, a nutritionist, you have a goal in mind. And I think that just makes it 10 times easier with that weight goal that you have.
Yeah.
So having that, I can see why people do it.
Yeah, me personally, man, I don't think that whole McDonald's, like look at the guy who, what's his name, bro? The guy who ate McDonald's every day. What was his name? Forgot his name, but what was that movie? Remember that movie they used to play at the schools? Super Size Me.
Oh.
Remember that movie where the guy
did they have it on Netflix?
No, I mean they would play it in school.
Let me Google it real quick.
So it was called Super Size Me, right? And this guy ate McDonald's every day. He that was his diet to show like America. Because remember how McDonald's used to have super size meals, like those really big meals, and they used to. He went out and he did like a McDonald's diet every day. He would eat McDonald's. That guy died because after doing that whole McDonald's diet and all that stuff, he had high blood pressure, cholesterol, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he died due to that. So if you're telling me, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way, bro. Like, there's no way that, and again, each sport is different, right? But there's no way that a high class, like, or high, athlete like Chad Ochocinco ate McDonald's every day. Like,
it's just funny. He's a character. He's one of them ones. But
he might be sponsored by McDonald's to say that, but
maybe.
I don't think so.
I wanted to ask. So you had a quick turnaround fight from February to May. You can go. Feel free to go however deep you want to go when I ask this. But what were negotiations like? What was like when you got the call? What exactly was said? And I guess how quickly was that yes to go to Japan and fight that
really,
fight?
Man, it was a crazy story. I was in LA. I was on vacation in LA, and I really got the call. Like, I was talking to my manager, and we were just talking about the most random stuff. He just called to check up on me and this and that. And he asked me, "Are you sitting down?" I said, "I'm actually picking something up and to eat, right?"
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Okay." He's like, "All right." He's like, "Would you like to fight Inoue?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Like, "Yeah, I told you." Yeah. He's like, "Okay, well, May." And I said, "You serious?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Don't say nothing though. Like, everything is still like," because he was supposed to fight somebody else, and then they're like, everything's still being negotiated, but just stay quiet about it. So then I was like, all right. I stayed quiet. I ain't saying nothing, and they're like, okay, well, an X amount of dollars, and I was like, okay, cool. And then they're like, all right, well, good thing you don't have to go to Japan. You can fight in
Las Vegas.
And I was like, oh shit. I was like, even better, you know? So everything just really it was literally, I got a call on Friday, and then by Monday I was back. Well, Sunday I came back to San Antonio. Monday I went to see my manager, and Tuesday I was back in camp. So everything happened like
quick,
literally within a couple of days.
When you got off that phone call, you tell anybody?
Yeah, I did. I think I called my dad.
That's funny. I'm just messing with you, man.
I told my dad.
Yeah.
I called my dad, and he was like, "Oh, like si os quiere." And I think I called my brother too. I called a bunch of random like close people to me.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And everybody was just like, "Man, well, hopefully." And that's basically how it happened, bro. Like I just said yes to everything, bro.
I was gonna ask that because you said, I mean, obviously the money that's a part of it, the business side of it. Was that something that you feel like you could have made a little bit more money versus you just saying yes right off the rip?
I mean, for me, it's for me like I told you, man. Money for me was never like obviously, and money's a necessity, right? Everyone needs money, but at the end of the day, like as cliche as it sounds, like and they always say, "Oh, when you die, you don't take it with you." So that's how I see it. Like, bro, when I die, I'm not gonna take my money with me. It's gonna stay in my bank account, and whoever has access to my bank account, or whoever I
Yeah.
have my, how you can sign your name and stuff. Like,
You're talking about, oh, I know what you mean.
when you go to the bank
like a
and then it said
beneficiary?
if you die,
Beneficiary. I think I'm saying it right. Beneficiary.
yeah, something like that. Like,
I know what you
they're
mean.
gonna keep your money. You're not. So for me, it was like the money was whatever. For me, it was accomplishing my goal, which was to fight, to win a world title and stuff. And then I was like, man, even better that I'm fighting for Undisputed. I'm fighting for all 4 of them. And then the Ring magazine. So it's like, for me, it was like, there was nothing more like I told my manager, of course, 100 times yes. Like, I was like, hell yeah.
So nothing, I guess in nothing stood in the way. You were going to sign regardless.
If they told me to wear pink boxers and purple shorts, I was going to do that.
Nah, come on, man.
I'm telling you, like, you know what I mean, right? If they told me that I had to wear yellow shoes on, like, I was going to do that. Like, I did, like I told you, man, I was going to take that fight no matter what. And even, the people that kind of were the other, like the fans that were kind of just like, didn't know who I was. Everybody was like, oh, we respect to him for taking the fight and this and that. Yeah. But in my mind, I was like, bro, I was going to take it no matter what. So one of those things where, no matter what, I was going to take it.
I get it. I think, man, I want to end on one of these last questions, man. We talked about it before. Social media is huge. And I mean, you have these fights that are, man, I'll just say it, Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. Like, you have fights like that are just like, I don't know, man. I don't even know what you call them. It's an exhibition fight, so they say, but it's just someone that is, I don't know, man. I just wanted to ask, how do you feel about fights like that, where it's just like social media people following, or just people from social media influencers getting into the boxing world as an industry? I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I mean, me personally, man, I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, because I think as a fighter, you're somewhat an influencer because you influence like the generation behind you, you know what I mean? And but me personally, I try not to kind of knock it because it's like one of those things where it's getting eyes on boxing, you know what I'm saying? It's getting eyes on boxing, and it's kind of one of those things where, like, for example, like me, right? Like, am I gonna go watch golf?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? Like, I'm not gonna go watch golf. How can they how can they find something for me to want to watch golf? Let's say there's an influencer that I like, and I like to see the content that they deliver, and then all of a sudden they're doing golf. Then it's like, oh shit, you know what? Golf is actually pretty cool. Let me go watch some golf now. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's the same with boxing, where these guys are coming in and they're kind of putting, like, for example, Jake Paul, he's putting women's boxing on a platform. He's giving them a big platform to where they can make good money, where they can be household names, where they can walk around and people recognize them. Before, man, it's not to be mean, but I didn't know any world champion boxers like women.
Same.
Like I knew Ann Wolf because I knew her personally. Yeah. You knew Layla Ali because she's Ali's daughter, and Christy Martin. But those 3 women, and Mia St. John. But those 4 girls, like, they were only 4 out of the many that there's been. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like Jake Paul's, yes, he's cringy, bro. Like, he's very cringy. He does do things that it's kind of like, he calls out Gervonta Davis and he's like, bro, you're 200 pounds. You don't even know about weight classes. Yeah. But he does, but it's one of those things where he doesn't care. He's like, he's going to do that. And for me, like I told you, man, I think it's cool that he is kind of like giving a platform to like the fighters, and he's getting more eyes on it. Kids that follow Jake Paul for him doing dumb stuff on TikTok before or on Vine, all of a sudden they're boxing fans. Yeah. And believe it or not, man, I had an advice from Rollies. From I was in Vegas one time and we were training in at Salah's gym, and he was there, and he kind of told me, he's like, "Hey, man, like we're just talking, and we were just." And
You said Rolly?
yeah, Rolly.
Romero?
Yeah. And
Gotcha.
you see him and you would think, oh, he's a fucking idiot. Like he's a jokester,
Yeah,
he's a guy that he's just crazy.
Yeah.
That's the first perception that majority of people get from him, right? And when I met him, I was like, damn, he's a cool guy. He's
chill,
a chill guy. He's not, and he gave me the best advice that I've received in that whole week in Vegas. I was in Vegas for like a week almost. And he said, like, basically, like, him being who he is on Instagram and being an idiot on social media is probably the best thing that he ever did, because now, people, whether they like him or not, they're going to watch him. You know what I'm saying? And then you people eventually, if they watch you so much, they're going to end up liking you. As funny as that sounds, bro. Like, people end up liking you as much. If they watch you that much, you're going to end up like, oh, you know, like let's say me and you, right? Like, I see you every day. And at first, I don't really like you because I heard stories that you're this and you're that. But then little by little, I see you. I see you. Let's say I see your shoes. Oh shit, I like his shoes. Oh damn, I like his hat. Or oh damn, So little by little, I'm gonna end up like, oh, what's up, bro? How you doing?
Yeah.
And then it's like I meet you as a person. And you're like, oh, he's actually not that bad. He's not what people have been telling me he is. So that's how Rollies is, man. He's one of those guys that when you meet him and you really like it's just you and him and y'all in the gym or whatever, like you start to really see who he is. And then you kind of start noticing like, oh shit. And so then he also told me that, every picture you take with the fan and every autograph that you sign is a shirt that you sell or a pay-per-view that you sell. So that's one of those things where I kind of like, if somebody stops me in the middle of the street, I'll take a picture with them. Or I've had it where people are like, hey bro, can you sign my my shirt? Oh, can you sign my shoe? And they'll take their shoe off and they'll give it to me like, even if it's smelly, I'm just there like, So it's like little things like that, man, where, and he's younger than me, but he's younger than me and he gave me that advice. I was like, you know what? Like, again, the guy is, if you don't know him personally, I'm not going to tell you I'm his buddy pal. I met him for a couple of days in Vegas and that was it. But a little advice that he gave that I was like, okay, like, cool.
Same thing, man. Perception is everything when you're on social media. So you think going into there is silly, goofy, but man, it's funny, man. I don't want to seem weird, but that dude was jacked when he fought fucking Ryan Garcia. He was just jacked. Like he just looks so much bigger at 147. 147, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that fight was at 47.
And I was like, okay, body like that, that's some serious fucking work. Either whether it's cardio, weightlifting, whatever you have to do, that's some serious work. So I was like, in my eyes, I saw that. I was like, this guy's very, very disciplined. And you telling me that just confirms like this guy is just bringing eyes to boxing, and it's more rewarding in the end for the reasons as selling more merch, people getting more eyes, and it's an all around return. And it's pretty crazy when you think about that.
I mean, just look at, like I told you, brother, like women's boxing, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever, like, let's be honest, did you ever watch women's boxing before?
Did not.
Right?
Did not.
You didn't watch it. And a lot of people didn't watch it. And again, it's one of those things where you can say, oh, it's because women don't punch hard and there's no knockouts and we want to see knockouts. And half the time, and I've been in boxing enough to know, like, half the time a woman fights another woman, right? Like, half the time, one of them knows how to fight and the other one really does not know how to fight. You know what I mean? Like, they're just there to get beat up. Yeah. And it was one of those things where it's kind of now, kind of like more women are getting introduced to boxing. Yeah. So now you have the little girls who are wanting to box, and eventually they might not be able to catch up when it comes to strength. But, they're going to catch up when it comes to like the more eyes that they're going to get. You know what I'm saying? Now you're getting better looking girls who are fighting. You're getting better. You're just getting overall better. Yeah. And women are more how do you say,
Like emotional?
meticulous in what they do.
I was way
right?
off.
Yeah, like they're more meticulous. Like their uniform has to do this, and
Okay.
they have to, they have to match this with that, and they have to, and they're way more on top of that.
I know what you mean.
And us, like me, my boy who kind of designed my stuff for my last fight, I just told him, look, bro, I'll let you design whatever you want. I don't care. I said, I just want XYZ on it, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
Dude, it makes sense, man, because there's a lot of people. I'm seeing Clarissa Shields, if I'm saying that right.
Clarissa Shields.
She's heavyweight. I hope she's a heavyweight, man.
Mhm.
Okay. Drawing blanks, man. But follow her now just because of the exposure of women boxing. Serrano.
Madison,
She's a fucking dog, bro. She's either way, man. I don't remember the other fighter's name, but
Katie Taylor.
Yeah, Katie Taylor. There we go. Both are dogs, and that right there is a lot of fucking exposure. I wanted to end on the Jake Paul thing, man. Like it's you have those influencers, right? And then you have the kids, like you said, kids that have no idea about boxing, but they know what YouTube is. They go from there, they see Jake Paul, they see he's boxing, and then they stumble upon you, whoever, Mario, Bam, whoever. And then they start to follow the journey. And then from there, they really fall in love with boxing as a sport.
Yeah.
So I can see how the transition of being an influencer and a boxer at the same time kind of collide. Really fucking crazy.
Yeah, and there's a balance, man, because like social media, like it's kind of hard to kind of manage because, for example, like me, I try not to act like an idiot.
Yeah.
It's hard not to sometimes because we're human, but I try not to. But it's one of those things where it's kind of like, sometimes you want to put something stupid just to kind of, or someday you're pissed off and you want to put something dumb, but then you end up saying, you know what, let me chill because I have people that are looking at every move I do, or they're looking at every post that I post or every story and stuff like that. So you kind of just end up, okay, you simmer down and you're like, you know what, let me not go down that route.
Dude, like Justin Bieber, human being, he posts whatever, right? It can be whatever he's posting. But I think he's such on a huge scale that they kind of criticize everything that he posts.
They nitpick what it is.
And he's literally just like one of us, bro. Like he wakes up with bad breath. He takes shits. You like normal shit that people do. Yeah. He's a fucking human being. And I think people sometimes just forget, like, since he's famous, they kind of are just
they forget that they're human.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for sure, because it's like anything, man. Like you said, bro, you forget they're human. It's like, bro, like they want privacy as well, but they're just a little bit more talented. They're more gifted in like making music or doing this or doing that, but they want their privacy too. They don't want every move that they do. And the paparazzi, man, like I think fans as well, bro. Like fans have a lot to do. I love the fans because without the fans, we're nobody, but sometimes they nitpick. Mm-hmm. They really nitpick something like for example, I could give away my phone, right? I can give somebody my phone. And somebody will screenshot that and be like, oh, look, Ramon's taking the phone away. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that happens to me, but I'm saying it happens to a lot of celebrities where it's like, oh, like, for example, like Floyd Mayweather, right? A lot of people don't know this, but he gives away food to the homeless, like in Vegas. Mm-hmm. He does it all the time. He'll do that. And then you have Floyd doing that, but then you have Floyd kind of like showing off a car that he just bought, and everybody's like, oh, you see, he's arrogant. He never gives. Yeah. And it's like, like, so social media is nice to have, but it's also like very draining.
Last thing, man. Can you say the next fight, when it's going to be?
Sheesh, I can't say it right now, but I know I'm gonna be back in the ring one more time this year. Yeah. Where and when, I'm not 100% sure yet, all the way. My manager, my promoter, they told me to kind of stay shut about it, so I can't really say much. But it's gonna be good. Yeah. It's gonna be a good fight. I'm excited for it, and I'm excited, bro. I'm excited to get back into the ring finally.
Me too, man. I appreciate you coming down, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
bro.
This conversation was dope. I just hope people see what type of person he is, because coming onto a platform like this means a lot to me. If people want to find you, know anything about you, what are your social media handles, and where can people find you?
So on I really be like dabbling into all the social media. So like really Instagram, it's Dinamita Cardenas, and then on X it's Ramon Dinamita. And then Facebook, it's my own personal Facebook.
No.
It's Ramon Romano Cardenas. I try not. It's funny. Facebook is like one of those things where the younger generation, like if you're 23, 24, like you don't really like Facebook. But it's like us, we grew up with Facebook. So I don't think I'd ever delete that. And I personally, Facebook is one of those things where I get on to kind of catch up with
family.
Like family
Old
or like friends,
Yeah.
you know, like people that I grew up with.
Yeah.
Half the time they're posting some off the wall stuff on it, but you know, I kind of like to catch up with them. So yeah, Ramon Romano Cardenas on Facebook.
If you're still watching right now, do me a huge favor, subscribe, comment your favorite part. Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all. Till next time, people. Peace.